Well, week 3 was drunk as shit. Anybody else see any of that coming? And welcome everybody to the countdown. It's your boy King, not here with Jimbo. At the time of this recording, as he's working, as you see right now, it's 2:23. There it is. As I'm recording this, I don't know why I have that clock up there. I probably shouldn't, considering that this is actually recorded. So you know what? Boop, clock goes away. But yes, every Tuesday I will be going ahead and kicking the table, as you can see there, really just screwing up everything. Obviously, this is recorded. I could edit all that out and be fine. But now I want you people to see how much I screw up. Yeah, so every Tuesday, Jimbo sends me his power rankings. We collaborate there. We put our power rankings together. Well, we don't really collaborate. We make our power rankings separately. He just sends me his so I can put it on the graphic. Then we look it up, and I present it to you here because obviously he's working right now. I'm unable to record at 4:45 when we usually do this, so that's why you're going to get the countdown on Tuesdays in a recorded version. And then on Wednesdays, me and Jimbo will discuss it a little bit. Usually it's about, Jimbo, what are you doing? Because his picks have been a little, I mean, he's got interesting takes. He has interesting takes. I'll give him that. When it comes to a lot of his decisions and thought process. I mean, he's got an interesting logic. He's got interesting logic. I think that's where I was going. And speaking of kind of like sounding weird and like, oh, it sounds a little drunk or sounds a little weird. Week 3, baby. Week 3, kind of a drunk week. We had the Packers lose to the Browns. Look at that. You'd say that's a sweet football team. Brown, wearing their dude wipe shit uniforms. You had, it was kickers hell this week in the NFL. Not great. Not great for anybody. Kicks blocked, kicks returns for touchdowns. 2 kicks blocked, returns for a touchdown. 1 for the Jets. They lost the game. 1 for the Eagles. They won the game. The Eagles losing most of the game and then winning in the end, coming all the way back. You had Tampa Bay wearing nice uniforms, nice throwback uniforms, looking very nice. And they wanted them, thank God. I didn't want them to lose in that. You had the Chargers, again, winning on a last-second field goal against Denver, who once again lost on a last-second field goal 2 weeks in a row. You had the Chiefs barely beating the Giants, who were bad. You had the Cowboys getting absolutely belt-to-ass by the Bears. I think the Cowboys' defense has been exposed. I think we all know who the Cowboys are. We'll see if they end up somewhere in either in the Power Rankings or in the Booty Cheeks 5. Maybe they'll show up there. We'll see. But enough of this talking around. This is just a quick video here to let you know how the countdown is and where we're going. So let's go over to the vertical display. And let's start taking a look. And let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen, at the Booty Cheeks 5. And we're going to break this down here for you. Go right down the list here. We always start off with the worst because you always want to start off with the bad news and finish up with the good. At least I think so. I think that's the way you want to do that. So, at number 28, Jimbo still has the Cleveland Browns, even with their win over the Green Bay Packers. He has the Browns. He has them up 3 spots from where they were at 1-2 record there. They are now at the 28th spot. I have the Raiders at 1-2 as they got mollywopped by the Washington Redskins this week. And I had the Raiders initially in there. Then after week 1, I took them out. I thought maybe I'll give them a little bit of a reprieve. They had a bad week 2, but I thought there were more worse teams than the Raiders after week 2. After week 3, they find themselves back in there, barely there, at the 28th spot. That is where I have the Raiders in the Booty Cheeks 5 at 29. Me and Jimbo are in agreement. The Dallas Cowboys at number 29, 1-2. Their one win came against the Giants team that they gave up 37 points to and needed every last second of overtime to win that game. I don't That's not an indicator. That's not indicative of either how good or bad the Cowboys are, because they're bad. Their defense is bad. You gave up. You let Caleb Williams, who people were questioning, is he even an NFL quarterback? Does he have it? Are the Bears going to be able to put something together? You let the Giants and the Bears put up those kind of numbers against you. Your defense is absolutely washed. That Cowboys defense is here. They got no pressures, no sacks on Caleb Williams. That's not great. That's terrible. But now you also have to think with their initial game against the Eagles, where honestly, if CeeDee Lamb can catch a ball or two, they probably beat the Eagles in that game. If I'm an Eagles fan, that is concerning to me, seeing how the Cowboys have gone these last 2 weeks after that game. So the Cowboys at 29 for both me and Jimbo. At 30, Jimbo has the Jets, and he put them in there right now, and he has them below the Cowboys, below the Browns. I know the Jets are 0-3, and I get it. It's understandable because they're bad, but I think there's worse 0-3 teams. I think there's worse 1-2 teams than the Jets. Jets put up a hell of a game against the Steelers, however you want to see the Steelers being or anything like that. And they also had a great game, not a great game, but a close game with Tampa Bay, who's 3-0. And outside of another Baker Mayfield last-minute drive to win the game, which he's starting to get known for here, the Jets win that game. So I don't know about having the Jets here at the 30 spot. I have the Saints at the 30 spot. They went up to Seattle and got mortared. And I was giving the Saints the benefit of the doubt for the last 2 weeks. I thought they were playing gritty, playing tough, for not being that talented and not being that great and kind of having no expectations going into this season. So I was actually considering, I was like, if they have a pretty decent game this week, I might even take them out of the Booty Cheeks 5. I don't have to worry about that because that game was, I think, did Seattle score 40 points before halftime? It was like 38 or 40 points before halftime. That game was over pretty much from the coin toss. So the Saints, they actually moved down a spot here in the Booty Cheeks 5 from 29 to 30, and that is where me and Jimbo disagree because he has the Jets there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. At 31, and I'll just reveal 32 as well because those are all the same. I have the Dolphins there, moved them up a spot from being the worst team in the league. Same for Jimbo. Oh, why did Jimbo say 0-2? It should say 0-3. But either way, it does no wins. That's really what matters. Fucked up graphic and all. But Dolphins, not great. But they put up a bit of a fight. They showed a little spirit and pride in that game against the Buffalo Bills. And, it was really right down to the end. Outside of that last tour mistake, they were driving to tie the game there when that interception happened. So when you look at that, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Meanwhile, the Giants, the Chiefs played the game the Giants needed the Chiefs to play in order to beat the Chiefs. The Giants just sucked more. Russell Wilson sucked terribly, and as we found out now, Russell Wilson is benched for the Giants. Jackson's start will be the starter going forward. If you want to see how I feel about that, I did a live breaking news segment earlier in the day. You can go check out that video right now over on the channel. No matter how you feel about that one way or another, in that game, the Giants had a real shot to take advantage of a Chiefs team that is struggling, that is bad, that is not great, as Pepper Jack is over there eating lunch and making a lot of noise as I'm trying to record this, but I love her to death, and it's okay. But the Giants had a chance to really take advantage of that game. The Giants really had the Chiefs. If this was the time to get the Chiefs, this was the time the Chiefs to get got. And the Giants, instead, you played yourself. And that's why you moved down a spot. And now the Giants, once again, for the second time in 3 weeks, are the bootiest cheeks of booty cheeks. They are the shit-covered asshole. Even in a league that has the Browns wearing shit-colored uniforms sponsored by Dude Wipes, the Giants are the dirty, shitty asshole of the NFL. And I think that's I think that's appropriate. Well, maybe not for work. Maybe don't listen to this at work. But I think that's an appropriate assessment of where the New York Giants are. And as for the Jackson Dart stuff, we had a change from Russell Wilson. I get it. I know. I understand. But man, I'm not sure overall how I feel about it because again, I know Brian Daboll. We needed a coaching change before we needed a quarterback change. And we needed a quarterback change. Russell Wilson just, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. And I think we all see that. But on a more positive note, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look over at the good side of the NFL, the positive side of the NFL. This is your NFL Top 12 Power Rankings for Week 3. Let's start off down here at number 12. At 12, Jimbo, he's got the Minnesota Vikings after they went ahead and really just put the beat down there on the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati had their backup, Jake Browning, in there, and it did not go well. Now, the Vikings had Carson Wentz as their backup. I believe the Bengals had 5 turnovers overall in the game. You get 5 turnovers, you're not going to win. And that's why that game, again, that was another game that was over by halftime. And, again, I think just based on the opponents, that's probably why I didn't move the Vikings back up into my top 12. But that's where Jimbo had them. Now, again, I'm saying that by having Seattle in my top 12, they're at 2-1. And people are going to be like, well, look, who has Seattle played? And what has Seattle done? And to that extent, yeah, they beat the Saints and beat them well. But again, that was a Saints team, I think, that was playing tougher and grittier ball than I think anybody had expected for them. So that's why I have the Seahawks there. Again, when you get to this level, when you get to the 12s, maybe it's that. Plus, Seahawks 12. Maybe it just fits. I don't know. But Jimbo has the Vikings. I have the Seahawks. And I think, honestly, if they played today, the Seahawks might actually beat the Vikings on the whole neutral field shit that we always talk about. At the 11th spot, Jimbo, he's got the Washington Redskins, as do I. We both have the Redskins at number 11. Jimbo has them moving down a spot after they went and beat the ever-loving shit out of the Las Vegas Raiders. I have them in the same spot. I didn't have them. Jimbo moved them down a spot. I moved them back up into my top 12. Again, looking at the teams that are out there and available to put up into the top 12, I was like, maybe not so much. And again, maybe not impressive considering the opponent when it comes to the Redskins in beating the Raiders, who are in a bit of a struggle right now. I think that's obvious to everybody. But right now, I think if you look at probably the top 12 teams in the league, I think you got to put the Redskins in there somewhere. For now, we'll see if they can start putting things together. Marcus Mariota played a very good game. We'll see if they also, if they played that well, they might let Jaden Daniels sit for another game. Let Mariota start another game. See if you can keep that momentum going. And if you do, that just gives Daniels more time to rest the knee. You're not rushing him back out there. You're not hopefully aggravating an already a bad injury that it could be when it comes to the sprained knee. And listen, more time to heal is better. And like, Jaden Daniels is in no danger of losing his starting job, clearly. So if the Redskins are going to perform like this with Mariota, maybe give him another shot. Maybe give him a couple more games like that. And it's a good problem to have when you have a good backup. Let your starter rest for a little while and heal up and get to 100% before you throw him back out there. At number 10, Jimbo still has the Kansas City Chiefs in his top 12. He has them moved. Did he have them move up a spot or down a spot? Either way, like that's another one I'm not sure about, because again, the Chiefs, they won, yeah, but they beat a Giants team that is fairly awful, and I don't. See, this is what I mean. Is like, sorry, I got distracted there for a second. Yeah, he has the Chiefs up a spot to number 10. I'm not sure about the Chiefs being in a top 12 at this point. I don't think they are one of the best 12 teams in the NFL when you look at it. Meanwhile, I have the Ravens down 4 spots to the 10 spot there with an identical 1-2 record to the Chiefs. Now, I know everybody's going to sit there and say, what, the Ravens are a better team. And not on the records. They're not. Their defense has given up 400 yards a game, I think, at this point during the season. And this was the point I was trying to make earlier on. I think I made it last week, either during the Friday forecast or during the main show on Wednesdays. That this Ravens defense is not, like, people think about the Ravens defense. Oh, the Ravens defense is tough. This is not the Ravens defense that I think people remember. or maybe want to remember when it comes to like when you're looking to pick a team and it's like, oh, but the Ravens, they got a great defense and they've got these and that. But when your line is just getting manhandled by the lines like it has, and they've again, they beat up on the Browns, but again, it took them until the start of the middle of the third quarter before they really started putting the Browns away in week 2. They had a lead against the Bills, but when it came down to crunch time, what happened? Fumble by Henry, of all people. And he fumbled in the Browns game, and then he fumbled in a critical point here. And this was the point I was trying to make all week. When I made the pick, I picked the Lions over the Ravens because I said if it's a close game, which I thought it would be, the Lions would go ahead and be able to beat the Ravens because the Ravens always crumble in clutch situations, in tight situations, in high-pressure situations. In those parts of the game, the Chiefs always crumble. And that's been their MO forever. And people, I know Ravens fans have tried to come out and say, no, how dare you? That is not the case. That is not how we are. And Ravens players that come out and say, we don't listen to that noise. That's not our narrative about us. That's not where we ignore that. But when it is constantly proven over and over and over and over again, and then we just saw last night on Monday night, the same thing. It stays on like before. It's the same shit, same movie over and over and over. Sorry, Ravens. You are who you are. You are who your record says you are. You are who we see. Who the eyeballs see. You could try to cover it up with stats and sit there and say, oh, Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback, MVP, one of the best guys in the world. But in pressure situation, he's not good. In coaching, John Harbaugh, in pressure situations, he seems to coach himself into problems. And now it's other players as well, either whether it's dropped passes in critical situations, Henry now fumbling. There you have Derrick Henry fumbling in key situations. Now in 2 of the 3 games, he fumbled in all 3. But it wasn't a key fumble in that Browns game as it turned out to be. But in the Bills game and this game, in tight games against good teams, you can't do that. You can't do that. So that's why I have the Ravens down there at 10. They're going to have to pull some kind of big turnaround. And listen, it's a good thing the AFC North sucks. Because the Ravens, even at 1-2, they still have a shot to win a division and probably still win that division. But am I going to go into the playoffs thinking that the Ravens are a Super Bowl contender? No, because they're never going to be able to win tight games. They're never going to be able to pull that off. They just can't. The Chiefs, on the other hand, boy, the Chiefs got problems because whereas at 1-2, I think the Ravens actually are probably still the favorite to win the AFC North. The Chiefs at 1-2, I think you're starting to wonder and worry. Maybe they don't. They're probably not going to win the AFC West at this point, and now you got to worry about if they make the playoffs. And now they have to play the Ravens coming up next week, so that's going to be fun. At number 9, me and Jimbo both have the Rams. The second time that we've agreed here. Jimbo has them down a spot. I also have them down a spot after that close and late loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, which I think the refs had a lot to do with, personally, but I know I've gotten some pushback on that. Maybe it's just me and my blue-colored glasses, being a Giants fan, but I thought there were some questionable calls made, let's just say that. But I think the Rams' defense is still a top-notch, top-quality defense. They play Indianapolis at home coming up here this week. So we're going to see a couple things. We're going to see if the Rams can bounce back, get to a 3-1 record, maintain their own division against San Francisco, who's 3-0, the Cardinals, who are 2-1, and with Seattle, who's 2-1. See if they can keep pace with everybody, or maybe we see again that maybe Daniel Jones is the real deal. We'll see. And again, I think the Rams can win even if Daniel Jones continues his pace and still does well. Like we saw, Daniel Jones had a great game against Denver, and they still almost lost that game. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But for now, we have the Rams at 9. They've got a big test coming up this Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts. At number 8, Jimbo, he dropped the Packers 6 spots after their loss to the Browns all the way down to number 8 at a 2-1 record. I have the San Francisco 49ers at 3-0, but boy, they've lost Bosa now for the year with an ACL tear. They are just it's a mash unit. I like the Niners. I would like to almost put them higher than what they are, but again, they're winning games. They got a last-second field goal to beat the Cardinals, and they're doing it by hook or by crook right now. And maybe that's it. That's just how they're going to have to scrape and claw to try to keep where they are. And I said before the season, if the 49ers can stay healthy, I think they're a dangerous team. The 49ers cannot stay healthy. So I don't know how dangerous they're going to be. But they are undefeated. So I have them at 3-0. They're at number 8. At number 7, that's where Jimbo, he has the Baltimore Ravens, moving them down 4 spots after they lost to the Lions. I have the Buccaneers. No change. It stays like before. They're at 3-0. Again, another late game-winning drive from Baker Mayfield after the Jets had blocked a field goal from Tampa Bay and ran it back for a touchdown to take the lead. Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield are able to drive down the field, get in the field goal range, and the Buccaneers, again, steal victory from the jaws of defeat. How long are they going to do that? You can't do that every week, and eventually it will bite you in the ass. This week, they play the Philadelphia Eagles in Tampa. The Eagles are a bit snake-bitten when they play Tampa Bay, especially in Tampa. Tampa's one of the few teams that has been consistently able to stop the tush-push. Let's see if that continues this week. Will the Buccaneers get another win over the Eagles, or will the Eagles break that kind of a curse that the Buccaneers have over them and be able to win down there at Raymond James Stadium? We will find out. At number 6, Jimbo has the Buccaneers there. He has them down a spot from where he had them previously for barely beating the New York Jets there, as we mentioned. I have the Lions move them up 4 spots after that big win against the Ravens, where they just ran the ball right down their throat, controlled the line of scrimmage, played Dan Campbell ball, as we know, and again, came up with the big plays when it needed. Aiden Hutchinson got the punch out of the ball on Derrick Henry on that big critical play, gave the Lions the edge in that game, and then they never looked back. And again, I think since that Green Bay game, the Detroit Lions are proving everybody wanted to write them off real quick after that one. You might have written them off, but they ain't right back, as old Geno Smith would say. Although Geno, maybe it's time to put the pen down there with the Raiders. I have no idea. At number 5, we're getting to the top 5 now. That's where Jimbo has his lines. Again, he has them up 4 spots, same way I did. I have the Green Bay Packers move them down 3 spots from where they were at number 2 last week for myself after that loss to the Browns. Again, it's a close loss. It's an embarrassing loss. Yes, but here's the thing. The Browns do have a good defense. I think that's the thing that might get lost in this. People hearing you lost to the Browns. They were playing at Cleveland. They were playing the Browns. The Browns' defense is very good. Jordan Love had a terrible game, though. He's got to do better. You can't have that kind of game against what I think is universally seen as an inferior opponent. And if you want to be considered one of the best teams in the league, which we were all thinking, maybe I put the Packers at 1. Maybe that's where we go next year. Maybe the Packers are just that good of a team to kind of have that kind of game and immediately knock you back down to earth. Again, you had some Packers there talking about, I think we go undefeated. I don't think anybody can beat us. And then you have that kind of game. I think that was a nice piece of the football gods, giving them a little bit of humble pie, telling them to shut the fuck up and just play football, take it a game at a time. And maybe that'll be it. Maybe that the Packers have learned their lesson. Focus on each and every game. Don't look forward. Don't overlook an opponent. This is the NFL. Anybody can beat you at any time. At number 4, and I might as well just reveal the rest of them because me and Jimbo have them the same from here on out. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Me and Jimbo both have the Chargers at 4, the Eagles at 3, the Colts at 2, and the Bills remain at the top spot for both of us here. The Chargers, again, they needed a last-second field goal to beat the Broncos, but they are in the top of the AFC West. They have a 3-0 record. They have won 3 straight games against their divisional opponents, so they have at least that over everybody else in the division. As of now, they have the tiebreaker over everybody in the division. So everybody in the division right now is 1-2 except for them. And on top of that, now it's really not just a 2-game lead, but it's really kind of a 3-game lead because of the tiebreaker. So the Chargers are in the catbird seat. They have the Giants coming up this week. They got to travel to the big air conditioning unit there in the Meadowlands. That still shouldn't be a problem. I know Jackson Dart is starting for the Giants. I still don't think that should be a problem for them. And the Chargers should go ahead and win that game. At 3, the Eagles, I have them as no change. Jimbo has them up 1 spot because of their win against the Rams. The Eagles, I've never seen maybe a more worrisome 3-0 defending Super Bowl champion team. Like you'd figure defending Super Bowl champion and 3-0, the Eagles are just picking up where they left off. You almost lost to the Cowboys, and we've seen how ass the Cowboys are. You almost lost to the Chiefs, and we've seen how ass the Chiefs are. And then you should have lost to the Rams. And it seems like with maybe a couple of really questionable officiating calls and a couple little breaks here or there, they should have lost to the Rams. Now, I think the Rams are a better team, so however you win against the Rams, I think is fine. I'll take that. But to be fair, the Eagles are just a breath away from being 0-3. They're 3-0 though, so maybe you look at that as they're not playing their best and they're still 3-0. So actually, when they start putting together, they'll be fine. Or you're looking at this as maybe alarm bells. Maybe we've got some alarm bells here. I'm not sure, but we'll see going forward right now with the Eagles where they are at 2. Again, this might be a surprise. This might be the biggest surprise of the season for me, is having the Colts where they are. And the reason they're there is because of just how well they're playing. And I know people are going to say, well, they beat the Dolphins. And, they beat the Titans. And you have both of those in your booty cheeks. And then they beat the Broncos, who are 1-2 and struggling. And Bo Nix isn't doing that great. And I get all that. But when you look at it, in total from this team, like seeing, and I know we've talked a lot about Daniel Jones and how well he's done. But like, look at Jonathan Taylor and how well he's done. Look at that tight end they got from Michigan, how well he's doing there. He looks great. The defense looks good. Like the Colts overall look like a well put together team, no matter who they're playing. Now again, they got a huge test coming up this week, going to Los Angeles or Inglewood to play the Los Angeles Rams. Again, this is going to be another test, another bar where people are saying, well, we'll see how good they are after this. We'll see how good Daniel Jones is after this. And we'll see, because that Rams defense can put it on you. They can put it on you. And they're going to be at home. We'll see how it turns out. But for right now, the Colts are putting up historic. See, that's the thing. It's not just that the Colts are winning. They're putting up historic numbers. You know, the only team to do this in the Super Bowl era. Daniel Jones, the only quarterback to do this, that, or the other thing in the Super Bowl era. Daniel Jones, the only quarterback to do this since 1940. Like, these are the kind of stats that we're seeing from this team. That's impressive. It's not just that they're 3-0. It's that they're 3-0 and impressively 3-0. That's why I have the Colts there, and I imagine that's why Jimbo has them there as well. We'll hear more from him tomorrow on the flagship show to explain himself, but I think that's pretty much what we're looking at as well. And, of course, the Bills still number 1. Yes, they got a little bit of a challenge from the Dolphins, which nobody saw coming on Thursday night, but they still were able to handle it. They took care of business at home. They still, to me, seem like the best team in the NFL, bar none. And we'll see how that continues for them. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the top 12 this week. Jimbo has the Bills, Colts, Eagles, and Chargers. Then he has the Lions, the Buccaneers, the Ravens, the Packers, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Redskins, and the Vikings at the number 12 spot. I, however, have the Bills, Colts, Eagles, and Chargers. Same top 4. Then I have the Packers at 5, the Lions, the Buccaneers, the 49ers, the Rams, the Ravens at 10, the Redskins at 11, and the Seahawks at 12. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Booty Cheeks 5 and the top 12 power rankings for Week 3. We've gotten all that done there for you. This, it's been an iffy bit of a show here. I'm still getting used to the whole recording stuff and figuring out how I want to put the show together. We are a long way away from actually getting this done nice and professionally, the way I kind of want to do it. But for now, it works. It gets the message out there. It lets you know who we have here. And we'll talk more about it on Wednesday. So make sure you join us there for that tomorrow at 4:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on this Stay Tuned Sports channel. If you want to make sure you see that, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Please hit that like and share button on this as well. Get us shared around to everybody. If you want to donate to us and help us out a little bit more, you can hit that donation station link or the merch store link in the bottom of the chat. Hey, that Jackson Dart shirt, that's in our merch store, bit.ly/stay tuned merch. S is capitalized, T is capitalized, and M is capitalized in Stay Tuned merch. So bit.ly, Stay Tuned merch. Jackson Dart shirt, both a t-shirt and a hoodie, all of a sudden became a lot more relevant. You're going to want to go pick those up there at the Stay Tuned Sports merch store. So until tomorrow late afternoon, I suppose, where me and Jimbo will join you for the main show. My name is King. This has been the Countdown, everybody. Have yourself a great rest of your Tuesday.